Hey there, everyone. Ervin here, and today I'm going to be going over 5 more obscure tips and tricks in Helldivers 2. As it turns out, when it comes to informational content on YouTube, the thing that you guys want to know the most is what you don't know, according to how the previous video in this series did. So, here are some more strange tips that I can guarantee you'll have not heard of at least one of before. First tip, did you know that all damage in Helldivers 2 not only has fall off, but is based on momentum? The new Charger Behemoths have been causing issues for anti tank options such as the Recoilless, Expendable Anti Tank, and Queso Cannon due to the legs being unstripped of their armor despite receiving 650 damage, allegedly while only having 650 HP. So, what gives? The Recoilless and Expendable Anti Tank launchers experience damage fall off just like any non laser weapons do that are not the Jar 5. Even automatons experience damage fall off, funny enough. To make this even worse, although the fall off is extremely low, any amount immediately lowers the damage by 1 due to rounding. This causes the Recoilless and EAT to deal 649 damage, leaving the Charger's armor with just 1 health remaining. As frustrating as this is, there is a counter that I can offer you today. As all damage is based on momentum, we can counteract this fall off by, well, adding some velocity to the calculation. This is as simple as moving forward while firing the launcher. This small bump in momentum will counteract the 1 damage lost from the fall off and deal enough damage to strip the leg armor as a result across the board. Although the Queso Cannon receives no damage fall off, the law of momentum will still in fact apply to it, unfortunately. This means if you fire while moving backwards, you will deal 649 damage, leaving the leg unstripped, where if you move forward or stand still, the leg will receive the full 650 damage and be stripped. Well, whenever me and Thick Filet and SETI workshopped this tip the other night, we came to the conclusion that Arrowhead should likely just add 1 damage to weapons, short 1 point on these breakpoints due to fall off, as this is a very bizarre and niche mechanic that we're now struggling to make the player base aware of. As a quick tip 1.5, the legendary Charger G spot has been located by Thick Filet on stream the other night. His sacrifice will not be in vain, as we now know by firing an anti tank weapon utilizing forward momentum at either the normal or behemoth charger's back, right above the 3rd scale, as you see behind me here, you will get a consistent 1 shot kill. While this may not always be practical, this is something you'll want to keep in mind when dealing with them going forward for sure. Second tip, this is going to be related to extracting. During extraction, I'm sure everyone has missed the bus every once in a while where a squad mate is unfortunately left behind until the second Pelican later comes to retrieve them and absolutely nothing bad happens to them at all whatsoever. To save on fuel, however, I do have a unique tip for you in this regard. When a Helldiver stands on the door of the Pelican as the extraction timer ticks to 0, indicating it's time for takeoff, Pelican 1 will give a unique voice line as seen here. After this voice line occurs, you have an additional unlisted 5 seconds to get on board. This allows you to potentially extend the time needed for your ally to get on board just in the nick of time during those clutch moments where they just need a few crucial extra seconds. If you ever get to use this one, be sure to tell them who to thank for their shortened commute. Third tip, did you know that you can use smoke grenades to block the line of sight for an enemy even when exceptionally close to them? Smoke is treated as a brick wall that stops any enemy vision cone in its tracks, meaning anytime the enemy would normally be able to detect you, smoke will cause them to immediately lose your position when entered. The effect is significantly limited when the enemy has already detected you and begun attacking you, of course, though. But before this occurs, the limitations on utilizing smoke are virtually non existent for the purpose of blocking line of sight during objectives. Sneaking past enemies, blowing up fabricators without drawing enemy aggression, you name it, smoke can do it. I cover all the ins and outs of smoke and stealth extensively here on the channel, so feel free to check any or all of these videos down if you want to know all the fun tricks that these stratagems and grenades can do for you. I'm sure you'll be surprised with at least something you learned going down this rabbit hole. Fourth tip, did you know that factory striders will not open fire on any Helldiver behind a ballistic shield or inside an exosuit with its front Gatling guns? This is particularly useful with the ballistic shield as it allows a Helldiver to keep these guns distracted aiming at them, but the strider will not advance towards them or otherwise do anything besides fire its cannon should that still be alive, allowing the strider to be taken out easily from range without fear of it returning fire with the Gatlings. I also tested this idea with the HMG emplacement, but found that it would in fact still shoot the emplacement until it was destroyed, taking me along with it. However, the HMG emplacement did tank a lot of shots for me for quite a while, so I probably could have utilized this to just take the front guns out myself. Not what I would call an emplacement W, but certainly not an L either. Fifth tip, did you know that there is a whole bunch of reloading tech in Helldivers 2? The Punisher and the Slugger hand-loaded shotguns can be reloaded between shots. This allows these weapons to be fired with 100% uptime from full ammo capacity all the way to empty with no downtime whatsoever, which is some fantastic sustained horde clear I personally utilize constantly when fighting Terminids. The Arc Blitzer's pump action, like the Punisher and Slugger, is also just a suggestion and need not play out for the next round to be readied. This means we can do any number of things between those shots, and one of my favorites with the new Bushwhacker Hydra Shotty is to hot swap after firing my Blitzer to the Bushwhacker, losing a shell or 3 from it, then swapping back to the Blitzer for a huge burst of damage and stagger onto any unfortunate adversary unlucky enough to be caught in it. The Eruptor has reloading tech as well. While the reloading speed of the Eruptor is normally a staggering 4.7 seconds when reloading from empty, and reloading with 1 round remaining only takes 2.8 seconds, you can actually cut this down even further by reloading 1 from empty during the racking animation caused by firing your last shot. This causes the reload animation to animate at the same speed as the bolt racking animation would have, significantly speeding up the amount of time it would have otherwise taken to reload, giving you a much more sustained stream of fire. The recoilless rifle, despite having its reload speed unintentionally nerfed, does have some reload tech to speed it up just a bit as well. By crouching the very instant that you see the casing leave the tube, then immediately resuming the reload, you can save a bit of time overall. You gain even more time by crouching right after you see the shell loaded in the bottom left, cutting the ending of the animation out. This saves valuable time when using the recoilless solo that you will be sure to feel the impact of should you choose to run it without a buddy loader. Now, no 5 tips video would be complete without a bonus 6th tip, am I right? Did you know rocket devastators always fire directly at their target and never lead the shots? This allows you to run at an angle in front of them to avoid all of their rockets without fail every single time. They can never land a rocket on you while you're doing this, and it also allows you to actively dodge the rockets as long as you react quick enough. Keep in mind that this is far easier in light armor and unlikely to work whatsoever if you're wearing heavy. The personal shield also has a tendency to catch the rockets that you would have otherwise dodged in this manner, causing you to be ragdolled by the explosive AoE after the projectile itself is soaked by the shield. You should also always utilize this tech over attempting to dive out of the way, as diving at an angle with an oncoming rocket salvo has a tendency to get your foot caught in the blast, sending you into a ragdoll loop until your untimely expiration. Hope this one helps those having difficulty with the Western Front feeling a little bit like an inflatable bounce house with more terminal injuries and less bored adults. Alright, now that's it for my tips for today. Or is it? Do I hear 7? Yes, let's get crazy and do 7. This is more so a fun factoid than anything, but while hovering the Pelican, although they have patched Pelican 1 to no longer receive damage, his autocannon can actually still be damaged and will in fact stop firing should it receive a sufficient amount of damage. This affects virtually nothing, but hey, I bet you didn't know about it, so here it is. Alright, that's it for me for real this time. I hope you guys learned something new from this video, and if I failed to teach you even one new thing that you otherwise didn't know, feel free to call me a liar in the comments down below. Thank you for watching till the end, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
And now, another helpful tip from General Brash.
Aerovin has once again brought us a set of valuable tactics our soldiers can employ during their operations. For this, I am ordering all active Helldivers to like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. Failure to do so will result in the escape key crashing your